And the last question is, who do you think benefits from conservation and national parks? And like, what sort of privilege do you think people have to benefit from it?
That's a loaded question.
I guess I'm not exactly sure what you're asking.
There's definitely something out here. It's super white.
Probably everyone in this video will be of a certain demographic, like maybe one little mix, but it's going to probably be from a privileged background.
What made me want to do the PCT? Well, I guess like 10 years ago or so, like I didn't even know backpacking existed. Like I was just sheltered. Like my family wasn't really outdoors. We would do some like car camping, but I thought that was it. And then about 10 years ago, I found out about backpacking and I started researching, and of course like PCT comes up because I think for like hikers it's like the mecca of long distance hiking, and so it was just kind of been a dream since then. Like that's something that I could do one day, And then of course, it's one of those things where it takes so much commitment that you really have to jump into it. And so because of life circumstances, I wasn't able to do it forever until this year, and then everything just lined up, and now I'm like literally living the dream. Like my dream is to do this.
The reason I wanted to do the PCT was because I wanted to experience living outside fully and on a deeper level. Instead of just making it a weekend trip, I wanted to experience the earth and just like slow life down and really just understand everything and try to get everything figured out. But I wanted to experience what it was like to not really have anything and to kind of suffer too.
I saw a National Geographic article about the PCT, and I was like, oh, that goes in the bucket list.
Reading Wild made me realize that the PCT exists.
I made it till 20 years old before I even knew this was a thing.
Well, I felt that the trail had something to offer me in terms of learning about myself.
We didn't have any money when we lived in Michigan, and that's why we camped, because it was $8 a night.
It's definitely location. I mean, we had to fly 4,000 miles to get here.
Some people just literally are physically incapable of doing something like this.
Situations, like I think there's a big problem with like, there's this one path, type A, you gotta go to college right after high school, and you gotta get a degree and do this job, and it's just not pushed as a priority to go and enjoy like being remote and being isolated. But it's really amazing when you discover it and you can actually enjoy it and benefit from it.
Who do you think benefits the most from national parks and environmental conservation?
The people of, just in general, like the world, because you have a lot of people from other countries coming out to Yosemite. Like, you see so many different people from all over the world there going up to Half Dome, or just on this trail. I've met people from Germany, from England, Australia, Japan, China. Just all over. So this isn't just an American thing. It's very worldly. More and more people from other countries are coming out as the years go by. So it's definitely, yeah.
So how do you think privilege affects someone's ability to hike, and like what other factors do you think?
Yeah, I think that national parks generally, if you're talking to Americans, it's white privilege, because those are the people that can do recreation, right? They're not home with 8 kids and 3 jobs and barely making the bills. It's the privileged that get to go and enjoy things. So it is that way right now. I don't know if that'll ever change because of the way that is culture. But I would hope that it changes. It also costs. It costs to come into the park.
Do you think benefits the most from environmental conservation in national parks?
I'd say just, you know, you're an average person who loves being outside, and I think there's definitely a lot of people who benefit from just having a place to go that's beautiful and natural, that you can kind of clear your head and just have fun in a natural environment, and you're not, you know, in your basement playing video games, and you're just outside fishing, like climbing, whatever it is. And just anyone who wants to just go have fun that way, which is a lot of.
So my great-grandkids have the benefit from it, you know, because if the political climate continues as it's going, and, you know, who knows what could happen to them, especially with budget, and, you know, if they don't have the rangers, the money to pay the rangers to watch it, then, you know, anything and everything can happen.
Or start selling off the land.
Or start selling off the land, you know, so yeah, I think it's, right now it's just a little scary as far as what could potentially happen, and I think about, you know, not necessarily my kids, because it probably won't be it may be in their lifetime, but for sure in my grandkids or great-grandkids, so.
If you want to hike the PCT, you will, no matter how poor you are. People on the trail, but like you can tell they're like 18, no way they could have accrued funds, but like their parents live out here, so they drive up and down the trail like resupplying them. So like that location allows them to do it. Whereas if you're in like a state that's nowhere near it, it's going to be really hard to have that person to follow you to kind of back you up. Besides that, though, I mean, it's hard to say what would make it more accessible, just because you have to feed yourself for 5 months without employment. And that alone, never mind like if you get hurt, if your gear gets ruined, which can all happen out here. I mean,
just being outside with my family all the time, camping and doing all the outdoor stuff with a huge respect for nature and the earth is definitely, absolutely what has shaped me.
Well, I'm a little bit older. I'm almost 50, so my generation people didn't think twice about throwing trash out the window of the car while they're driving down the road. So I think being in that generation, you have a choice. You can either pay attention to what's going on around you, or keep doing what you grew up doing. You know, and I think I have definitely changed my outlook as far as how I grew up.
I think everybody benefits equally, honestly.
I think if you do have some privilege, especially with money, then it makes it easier to get out and about and go do these things.
It also costs. It costs to come into the parks, and I understand the costs. I'm happy to pay the cost, but I also have white privilege.
I'm definitely privileged. Like, I have a good job, and I was able to save a bunch of money and, you know, kick off for 6 months, and very few people can do that.
My parents never went outdoors. I'm from a minority family where, like, the outdoors is really not a priority.
You know, it would be nice to see some more diversity out here.
I mean, you can tell just from like the demographic that's on the trail. I don't even know if I should say this on camera, but like when we were first on the trail, there was one black guy, and the next day in Mount Laguna, people were like, "Did you see the one black kid? He left. Oh, we never get those." And it was like, oh, fuck.